Let's get it. Welcome back to Mic'd Up and Misinformed with your hosts Lunch Money and Mad Dog. This week we're going to be breaking down UFC Fight Night, Moicano versus Duncan, and then we're going to give out some updates on March Madness. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is by far the worst card of the year so far. There's been a lot of dud cards, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, bro. Ever since they signed that Paramount deal, the there's been a few good cards. That Patty Gaethje one was good. There's one a couple weekends ago that's pretty good, but I would say more have been bad than good in my
Yeah.
opinion. What about you?
I agree, dude. And that Patty Gaethje one was the first fight going into the Paramount deal.
That
And
was to like get all the
yeah,
casuals and like newbies sucked in. Like, let's get them on that Paramount
yeah.
subscription, and then all of a sudden they're giving us some booty cards, bro.
Then it just went dry, bro. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, so I agree. I think part of it is like you said, the Paramount deal. They already know how much money they're going to make. They're going to try to get away with the cheapest cards possible, so they can have bank their cash. And everyone's waiting for the White House event, right? So it's like we're going to save the biggest, best entertainers for that. So I think most people they're just on the waiting list, you know.
yeah, it's frustrating, bro, because like you said, with the Paramount deal, the money's already set in stone. They know exactly what they're getting. It's not the pay-per-view structure
Yeah.
anymore where the amount of money's like limitless. There's there used to be no ceiling on how much money they could bring in. Now I do understand that the numbers pay-per-view wise had declined in recent years with cards, but at the same time it had the UFC motivated every time there was a
Yeah.
pay-per-view event to give a great card because that depended on how much money the UFC in total was going to bring in. So for me now, I feel like, you and I are both big UFC fans. It's been like underwhelming and it hasn't, it's been a bad experience so far for us viewers and UFC fans having these bad cards. And I feel like the UFC just doesn't have that same pressure on them to put together great
Yeah.
cards because the money's set in stone. They already got the $7 billion deal or whatever. And
Exactly.
I'm not a fan of it, bro. What was it
No.
like? It was a 7 year deal or something. I don't know if it's 7 billion or 7 year deal, but it was set in stone and it's not pay per view anymore. So they know exactly what the money's looking like.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem, dude, honestly. So there's just no incentive, like you said. I wish maybe they would have lowered the value or the cost of the pay per view because it was just starting to get outrageous, right? So it was just almost became priced out, and I think that's why they started to lose viewership. Or I think if they made it, better price and still did one per month, we had better action that way at least.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. Two things. I really like what you said. You could have kept the pay per view so the motivation would have stayed there and lowered the cost, and you would have had a lot more people not bootlegging the fights and
Yeah,
actually paying for it. And then on the flip end of that, maybe you could have had less pay-per-view events in the year. Like let's say if they had 12 or whatever they had, maybe they could have scaled back and maybe did like 6 to 8 of them and made them like super banger
yeah,
fights. Like almost like as if they're talking about the White House card. Like
yeah,
whenever they did have a pay-per-view card, make sure it was super significant to where it was must-see television, whether it was, primarily title fights or, guys with big name recognition. But I feel like they should have kept the pay-per-view model because it kept the motivation high. Because right now there's no motivation to put together great fights unless UFC fans like us continue to say, "Hey, like this ain't it. This ain't working. This is
yeah.
trash compared to what we've gotten in the past."
Yeah, I agree, dude. That's how it seems like we have to we're forced to settle and we have no option. But we watch
Yeah, and
great.
we're gonna watch regardless. And
Exactly.
we're the type of people that we're gonna watch fights even if 99% of people watching aren't familiar with the names and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it it's I just feel like in the long run it's gonna decline because people back in the day we gravitate to these big names, and
Yeah, for
nowadays it's like the bigger names aren't as active, there's not as many big personalities. The UFC doesn't have as much motivation on putting together these super fights because when they do they have to pay these fighters even more money, and so it's more money out of their pocket at this point because they have so much coming in. So I don't know. Hopefully they figure it out, but something's got to give. And to give the UFC credit, they have. gotten better and better as years gone on. They've raised the bar and made it. It used to be not a very popular sport at all, and it's
Yeah.
grown so much. So I do trust the UFC, but I do believe they're gonna have to make some adjustments, probably in the second half of this year. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I agree. And I like how you touched that. You said that like there, it doesn't seem like the name recognition is the same anymore. And I never really thought about that, but I kind of agree, dude. Like, if I went and asked my wife, like Conor McGregor, Silva, she's in the know, right? But it's like now she would know some of these people, especially on a card like this. She's not gonna know anybody. And I feel like there hasn't been anybody in the last probably 5 years that's like a Conor McGregor or anything like that right now. I mean, there's
Yeah, in my
yeah,
opinion, bro,
Paddy.
the
Paddy
last
Pimblett is a big promoter. Sean O'Malley, but they don't seem to have the same name though.
yeah, I feel like, in my opinion, after McGregor, kind of fell off and declined and hasn't and became inactive. Israel Adesanya had the UFC on his back for years,
Yeah,
especially during the COVID era. And then I would say the next big name that really put the UFC on his back was probably Alex Pereira. But now you got a weird situation. They got Pereira saved for the White House, but now you got a situation where these champions just aren't as active, bro. To be straight up, like
yeah,
Tom
for
Aspinall
sure.
has all these issues with the eye since the eye
Yeah,
poke,
which is
so the heavyweight division's all messed up. All these champion, Ilia Topuria had the divorce.
that's
Ilia Topuria should be the face of the UFC in my opinion right now for sure, but he's been inactive dealing with his divorce. But all these big names that are right now in the UFC that should be carrying the UFC on the back, they're just not active for
yeah,
whatever reason it is. And it's just not working out. Kamzat should be the face of the UFC as well. Kamzat Chimaev is a monster, bro.
he
People
is
love
a
watching his fights,
monster.
but the guy doesn't fight often at
Yeah,
all.
yeah, it's
And
true.
so everything's messed up right now. And then, and even just off the top, bro, in the flyweight division, Pantoja had that freak arm injury during the fight, and now Josh Van, that's a weird situation in itself. Um, Guys just aren't fighting, bro. I don't know what it is. And then Marab was super active. He's a pretty big name, but I wouldn't say anywhere near the face of the
Yeah,
UFC. But he was a big name. But when he lost, now the bantamweight division's kind of
yeah,
it's kind of at a stagnant phase. So hopefully they can figure it out and make it exciting again. And then even with the light heavyweight division, Pereira's like basically vacating the title to go to heavyweight, and now you got like Jiri and Carlos Ulberg
that's true.
fighting, and you got Jiri, which he has some name recognition, but he's nowhere near
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Pereira and some of these other big
He's
names that
not a
we've mentioned
household
previously.
name, you know.
So, so all I'm basically saying is like you don't have a champion that's like active and going at it and able
Yeah,
to
we
put the
don't.
UFC on their back right now. Like after Alex Pereira, it's and he still is one of the faces, and they're saving him for White Card. But aside from him, I'm like, man,
Yeah.
who's gonna step up and be that person?
So Sam, is this part of the like new UFC strategy, or is it like bad marketing, bad publicity? It just happens to be ironic things with all these fighters having issues at once.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I really don't know. I miss active champions, man. It really makes me, I keep saying Adesanya, but it makes me appreciate people like Adesanya who were active, and I mean even Usman. Usman did a great job of staying pretty active as
Yeah,
well. And now these champions just aren't active, bro, and something's got to give.
it's
It's like
interesting.
once people get the bag, they really want to like nitpick their fights and have like the perfect fight, quote unquote. Because the UFC on paper is supposed to provide you 3 fights a year. You know, every UFC fighter from the company on paper is supposed to be given 3 fights a year.
Interesting.
So I mean, that just tells you people are declining fights, whether it's
Yeah,
injury, money issues, whatever
yeah,
it is.
interesting.
That's why they're not being active.
Man, I'd be fighting trying to get my name out there.
Yeah, I don't get it, bro. I really don't.
Well, I
But
feel even honestly,
anyways,
even if you win or lose, if you just get the people behind you, you're still gonna book fights. You know?
right. That's my thing too, and also it's not as exciting fights either, bro. Like I
Yeah,
feel like we're not seeing as many knockouts or finishes. Like I would say something that was super disappointing at the top of my head was that BMF fight. You
No,
know,
that was
Max
crazy.
Holloway, big name, Charles
Yeah,
Oliveira, you know, two massive names,
yeah,
and it was such a dud, man. That was a
yeah,
dud fight. And that's a BMF fight. And you
yeah,
get, you know, wrestling lay and pray the entire fight. And I respect both fighters, but I mean, that's just not gonna bring attention and
yeah.
and more eyes into the UFC like everybody wants to see.
100%, dude. We want to see those bloody matchups, you know? We want to see them
Trying to see bangers, bro. And then I feel like that real American freestyle wrestling is getting more popular. I'm like, dang man, since when is this becoming comparable to the UFC for
Yeah,
entertainment wise? Like UFC should be top of the chain, like nothing else should be compared to it.
yeah. I mean, I think especially
I'm about
the
to start watching PFL, bro. I'm playing. I'm playing.
yeah, sometimes it is those better cards, dude, because the matchups are so ridiculous sometimes, and then all of a sudden you start getting some good knockouts and some crazy stuff, you know. Where I think at the UFC level, everyone's so good. Like we mentioned last time, you don't see nearly as many arm bars. You don't see, as many heel locks or kimuras. When most of these things, everyone knows how to roll out of it or get out of it or defend it now. So I think that's part of it too. So then they just grapple, like you said, just like the Oliveira fight, they just hold on and keep trying to submit, and the other dude keeps defending and keeps moving.
Yeah, man. I know. I think it'd be so cool if they did it in this day and age. There's no way they would ever do it again. But I thought it was so cool when the UFC first started when there's essentially no weight class and you get this like massive big guy there's like
Sumo
6 foot
wrestler,
something, 300 pounds, and you get a little
exactly.
guy like 5'7", a
Yeah,
buck 60 or something. I think that'd be so entertaining in today's world, man.
I mean it would be, but I mean, can you even imagine like Mighty Mouse versus Tom Aspinall? I mean, that would be rough, bro. That the athletes that we have now are just the weight classes make more sense. Maybe some
Yeah,
of them should be more opened up, but
that'd create even more CTE, bro.
100%, dude, 100%.
Oh my god. All right, man. So let's get into this dud card. We do have some good plays here. There's a lot of fighters who I'm not real familiar with, and some that just are lower level. So excuse me. So we'll try to get through this, but it's just not a good card. First up, we have Dakota Hope versus Kai Kamaka. I don't know much about Dakota Hope, but Kai Kamaka was in the UFC a while back. He had lost some fights. He went off in other organizations, and now he's back. Um, what's the odds on this one? Do you have them by chance?
I do. So the Kamaka is at minus 160 and Dakota Hope is at plus 135. And Hope took this fight kind of last notice too. But I feel like Kai is just, he's been here. He's done that kind of. It's like he didn't have a good time when he's here last time. So I feel like he's probably putting a lot of pressure on himself. Um, Hope is a good boxer overall. So I think he comes in and gets the job done. So I'm taking the underdog here at plus 135.
I'm with you, bro. I'm looking here at Hope's resume, and he's won 5 fights in a row. He's fought in a lot of much lower level fighting organizations, but at the end of the day, I truly believe in confidence and momentum. And when you're coming off 5 wins in a row, you know you're thinking that I'm not losing to nobody. And Kai
Exactly.
Kamaka has already been in the UFC. There's a reason he left and didn't make his name in the UFC. I
Yep.
think they're bringing him back for. And again, this is a low level card, so it makes sense to bring him back for this one. No offense to him, but if Dakota Hope's a dog, let's take that underdog, bro.
Yeah, I love the dog here.
Yeah, let's go. First fight of the night, we're going with the underdog, baby. Next up, we have Dione Barbosa versus Melissa Gatto. Gatto is 9-2-2, and Barbosa is 8-4. Um, I'm seeing here Barbosa's 33, Gatto's 29. Um, let's see the reach. The Gatto's got a 3-inch reach advantage. What's the odds on this one?
So Barbosa is at minus 130 and Gato is at plus 110. But you put the hammer on it, dude. Gato's got the reach advantage. I think she's a little bit better on the ground overall with the submission attempts. So look for her for taking her down and getting submission. I would say Barbosa is a little bit of a better striker, but I just don't see a lot of growth in her. Or I think Gato's got room for improvement still.
this is giving to me decision written all over it. I'm thinking it probably is not great value, but I'm thinking over 2.5 to taking a decision here. I'm sure it's probably what minus 300.
So over 2.5 minus 310.
Yeah, that to me. That's take the over or pass on that one. In my opinion, I wouldn't even take a fight.
That's probably the smart move.
Yeah. All right, man. Next up, we have inside story. I just told Mad Dog about Trayshawn Gore. I'm not going to share with you guys, but we have Trayshawn Gore versus Asimov Bekov. This is a pretty good fight, bro. I'm not going to lie. Both guys got a lot of power. Um, both guys are still trying to grow and make a big name for themselves in the
Yeah.
UFC. They haven't really, Gore's 6-4. He was pretty good on the was it the I'm pretty sure it was the Contender Series where he
Yeah,
came from.
he started off really good. He looked like he had a lot of potential. He fights like in the box. I feel like he fights really stiff, and he just doesn't really let himself go. And then he kind of burns himself out with all that muscle being so rigid.
Yeah, I just feel like he has got, he's jacked, bro, but he has a weird bit, he's in a weird I feel like he's like an in-betweener weight class wise.
Yeah.
And he does gas out during the fights, bro. And then even earlier in the fight, I feel like with Gore, he just what you said, bro. Like he starts out and he just waits too long, bro. It's almost like that the Cheeto Vera vibes where he waits so long to where he gets to the point where it's like, man, like now you have to find a finisher, you're gonna lose the fight.
Yep.
And his record reflects that. I mean, he has lost his last two fights, so
Yeah. Asma for sure, and Gore has a tendency to lose the submission. So look for Asma to get the submission here. Minus 675. Gore's at plus 460.
wow, bro. I
Yeah.
did not expect the odds to be that
That's
wide.
nuts. I expected to be a little closer, but that's nuts. I mean they're essentially expecting Gore to lose here.
Bekov's minus what?
675.
Wowza, bro. And Bekov is coming off a knockout. It is from October, so he's recovered from that. So he's taken the proper amount of time off. Um, but before that, he had 4 wins in a row, and he is a two-time at least champion with LFA. I don't know how much that matters, but Bekov is the proper favorite here, but I do feel like he is overpriced. So for me,
He's
this
worth
is
it.
dog or pass. I would say take Gore by knockout or just don't bet on that fight specifically at all.
Just stay away.
Stay the heck away from this. Hey, Matt, I was like, we're not taking. Hey, I'm not taking Gore. I promise you that. I'm
That's it.
that guy has me
Traumatized.
traumatized.
Never again.
Real life
Never.
trauma, bro. I'm not
Never
touching Gore,
again.
even at that juicy odds and value. But I'm gonna say I think him by knockout's not a bad play, but again I'm not touching it. If y'all do, good luck. Next up we have Haley Cohen versus Elise Pereira. She is some people let me see. Yeah, that's not her. Yeah, some people get her confused with being Alex Pereira's sister, but his sister fights in karate combat, so this is not Alex Pereira's sister. Um, I don't have an opinion on this fight, man. What are you thinking?
I don't know anything about Hallie Cohen. Alice Pereira she's a killer, dude. She has 5 finishes out of her 6 wins. I mean, she goes in there to get the job done, and it's practically a pick 'em. Alice is at minus 128, Crowan at plus 107. So I'm gonna take Pereira here just because she's a killer, dude. She wants to go in there and she wants to finish it up. She's not trying to, stand around and just lay and pray.
So she's definitely a finisher. She in her last 5 fights, she does have 3 knockouts, which it's uncommon for in women's MMA to see
Get
finishes,
knocked
especially
out.
like knockouts.
Yeah.
Um, but I will say, in her only UFC fight, she lost a split decision to essentially a no-name fighter. So she is only 20 years old. So my assumption, I haven't really seen her fight much, but I'm assuming she's a great finisher, but maybe her fight, she's growing. Maybe her fight
Yeah.
IQ has been low in certain fights. With Cohen, she's 34. She's a vet. She really, hasn't shown much in the UFC. Let's see what her last fights have looked like. She got subbed in her. Let's see. She's back-to-back losses. So she won in the Contender Series by a split decision, and then Cohen's lost her 2 fights. Her last one she lost by submission. So, dude, I'm taking Pereira here.
Yeah, especially basically a pick 'em. I like the girl that's more active and looking to get the job done.
She's hungry, bro. And 20 years old,
Yeah.
you could make significant growth and changes to your game, especially at a young age like that. I mean, anywhere in your 20s. Cohen's 34. She I feel like she's already hit her ceiling and her peak of where she's at in the UFC. So this is one of those fights where it's going to be a stepping stone where Pereira gets some name recognition. Hopefully, she pulls off a big knockout here. I do believe that if you took Pereira by a finish, that in the women's MMA period, if you take them by finish, it's going to pay out pretty big too.
Yeah, for sure.
What's Pereira by knockout? I'm gonna guess probably plus 500-600.
Yeah, I don't. This app doesn't load up the props right away. Let me pull up my other one real quick.
It's all good if it doesn't too, because oftentimes, we're recording Wednesday, so oftentimes, especially with fights that aren't on the co-main or main event, those specific methods of victory won't come out till Thursday or Friday around when or after weigh-ins occur.
All right, so pair by KO plus 475.
Not bad. Hey, I think the books are kind of saying that's a likely outcome.
Yeah,
So I would probably I'm throwing her in a parlay. That's what I'm doing.
yeah. No, I love it, especially at those odds, dude.
Yeah. All right, bro. So we're both on board with Pereira there. Next up, we have Lando Venata, a UFC vet, versus um Darius Flowers. Flowers, excuse me. Flowers is 12-8. Venata's 12-7-2. Pretty similar records here. I do believe Lando's got a lot better resume. He's fought higher quality opponents, but
Flowers has lost 6 times to sub, so he's not great on the ground game. So look for Venata to come in and get the sub here, dude. I mean, if you know how the guy loses, just go in there and get the job done.
yeah, Flowers has lost his last 3 fights in a row. 2 of them have been by submission, so that's concerning if you're on the Flowers side.
Isn't that crazy?
Venata has had 2 losses in a row.
Yeah, that's
He
scary.
lost to Zell Huber and Charles Jourdain. I don't mind the Jourdain loss, but Zell Huber, he just got knocked out by Bobby Green, so that kind of concerns me on the Venata side. So for me, I'm passing on this fight. What are the odds, may I ask?
Venata minus 225, Flowers at plus 185.
Yeah. Oh man, Venata is more of a striker, so I don't see this fight going to the ground. I see it standing personally. So for me, it's dog or pass, but I'm definitely passing. I don't want nothing to do with this fight.
Yeah, Flowers is scary, dude.
So, but if I'm Venata, I'm looking to take that guy down.
100%.
Yeah. Do you got an opinion on that one? Do you like Venata?
Yeah, I like Venata by sub. I think that's his best path to victory.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna yeah, I'm looking at the next fight, man. I'm passing on that
Yeah,
one.
you're good, dude. You're good.
Next up in the flyweight division, we have Alessandro Costa, who's 14-5, versus Stuart Nicol, who's 8-2. Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know much about either fighter, man. What are you thinking here?
Dude, so it's weird. Both of them are kind of like hit and miss. So it's like Costa win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Stuart Nichols coming off 2 losses. But they have Costa at minus 420 and Nicole at plus 333. So it's like either they know something we don't, but like you said, I don't really know that much about either of these guys. This is a pass for me. There's just no value in it, but I just thought the value or the spread is kind of crazy.
So with Nicole, his He's only fights in the UFC were 2 fights, and he lost both of them to essentially no names. And with Costa, he's fought some pretty good names in my opinion. He fought Steve Erceg, who once fought for the title against Pantoja, and then what? Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was against Pantoja, and then he beat Kevin Borjas, and then he just lost his last fight to Coria. So I do see
He's got
why he's the
better.
favorite, but not that big of a favorite.
Yeah, I mean they're just giving him the
What did you say
experience.
before that? I'm sorry.
No, I just said he's had better competition, so they're just giving him
Yeah,
the experience points.
yeah, I'd say the experience for sure. So I don't like those odds though, man. Again, these are crappy
Yeah,
fights, but
yeah,
it sucks when it's crappy odds too, man. Like I would put Costa at probably minus 200, but minus four something's kind of crazy in my opinion.
yeah, it's crazy.
It's a flyweight fight too. I'm gonna say a decision on that one. I'd take over 2.5 before I played it aside.
So
All right,
yeah, over 2.5 minus 110. So
that's not bad.
that's the
So
value.
the book says it's a good possibility there's a knockout. I'll
Yeah,
go decision on that one. Usually flyweight fighters got, high gas tanks and not a lot of power in their punches. All right, dude, this next name's gonna be hard for me to pronounce, man. We have
Giram,
Gia what is it?
Giram.
Giram. All right, let's say that. Giram Pat 6-0 versus Thomas Peterson, who's 10-4. Peterson does have some power in his punches. Let's see Peterson's last fights. Let's see. He lost to Victor Petrino. Victor's pretty good, bro. And then before
Yeah,
that, he beat Dontel Mays and lost to Gaziv. Gaziv's pretty good too, bro.
Kazib is good too.
Um, so Peterson definitely, I'm gonna say off the rip, Peterson's definitely already had the better competition. With Pat, he's won his last five in a row, and then on the his only UFC fight, UFC Fight Night, he won a unanimous decision. So I'm looking here. A lot of his fights are either knockout or decision wins when he does win. So in this fight, bro, I'm gonna say you hear me, Pat pulls off a KO on Thomas Peterson.
Let's
What do you think?
go, baby. That's exactly what I was going to say because Peterson gets knocked out and Guillermo will be knocking people out. And it's a pick 'em, dude. So I even love this even better. They have it minus 108 and minus 112. So, I mean, at a pick 'em, dude, I'm taking the guy that's knocking people out.
Yeah, especially with those odds, bro. And
Yeah.
Pat is new in the UFC.
He's coming
He's
in
a better
experience.
guy to push up through the division than Peterson. Peterson is one of those fighters that also has kind of hit his ceiling. So
He's
I
getting
like Pat a lot, especially those odds, bro. That's juicy, bro.
it's
I love that.
juicy. It's so good.
Giving me a coin flip
I
on
would
that,
try.
you hear me all day.
Yeah.
6-0, never lost, never experienced defeat, dude. That confidence is unreal.
Right?
He's
So
going in there ready to dog walk Peterson.
honestly, he probably will, dude. He probably will take Peterson down in under 2 rounds.
Dude, he's gonna be looking at Peterson like my dog looks at my steak when I'm eating it. All right, next up we have some other newbies, man. Next up we have Jose Delano, 16-3 versus Robert Rushala, who is 11-2. This is a featherweight fight. Let's see. Rushala, his only fight in the UFC, he lost a unanimous decision to William Gomez. Gomez is a pretty good fighter though, so I'm not gonna like hate on him for that. And then
Yeah.
with Jose Delano, um, he got a unanimous decision win in the Dana White's Contender Series, and before that, he had 3 wins in a row in the LFA. The last time he lost was 2023 for in a title fight in the LFA. It seems like Delano has the momentum on his side. I'm gonna take Delano in this fight. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so I think Delano is the right pick, dude, but they have him at minus 340. That's the problem. So
Never mind.
I'm looking at Delano to get sub. So I think you take him by sub. That's your best bet. Yeah, at 340, I mean that's a parlay piece, but not much else you could do.
Yeah, yeah. Straight bet wise, it's kind of a stay away, but I wouldn't mind throwing him in a parlay. All right. Hey, you know what? The positive about this card though is some of these guys that have no name recognition, this is a time for them to put themselves on the map because sometimes when you get like, let's say for example, if Alex Pereira is on the card, nobody's thinking about these other guys fighting, but on a fight night like this, you really could like steal the show. I
That's
mean, you
that's
get it.
true.
You get a big knockout and you give a really great mic speech and you get that bonus.
Yeah,
Next thing you know you got all these sponsorships coming in. So this fight card is for these guys to put their names on the map.
that's true, dude. I like that.
Next up, we got Tommy McMillan versus Manolo Zecchini. Zecchini is 11-4. McMillan is never lost. He's 9-0. What are you thinking here, bro?
Dude, McMillan's at minus 1400, and he's not even the biggest favorite. Oh, he must.
Sheesh. Let's see what Manolo's looking like here. So
So he
his only UFC fight, he got knocked out by Scherer.
yep.
I always have a hard time pronouncing his name, but he's a good fighter, bro.
He's a good fighter. So I mean, and this guy, his first fight again. Sometimes they come up and get stage fright and tighten up a little bit.
Let's see if McMillan's even fought in the UFC or if it's his first fight. So he
He,
came off the decision, a majority decision win on the Contender Series. Dude, that minus 1400 is kind of crazy, bro, to
it's
be honest with
crazy.
you.
So you just got to stay away. Both these guys are newer, like you said. I mean, look for McMillan to come in and sub and grapple. Yeah, I mean, this is a stay away. There's no reason. If you're crazy, I guess you could ride the underdog just for the freaking
Yeah,
energy.
yeah, dog or pass on that one for
Yeah.
sure. Hey, dude, this next fight, I already looked. I feel like these odds are gonna change over time. Um, they're close odds right now. This is my lock of the card, bro. I love this fight. This guy put on a show in his last outing, and he was a big underdog and came through. Dude, I'm taking Ethan Hewing to the bank, dude.
Love it, dude. I think he's the better striker too. And Rafael likes to fight to decision, so he kind of fights on the outside and just tries to stay present and not get pieced apart. But I think the pressure from Ewing could make a big difference here, dude.
It looks like for the odds to be pretty close to a coin flip, what justifies that is Raphael has never lost, so I do respect that he's never lost. He came from the LFA and then he got a big knockout on the Contender Series, but since then he's gotten all unanimous decision wins. So I can't hate on it. At the end of the day, if you're winning fights,
Yeah,
that speaks volumes for itself. It's hard to win in the UFC. So I do respect that, and I'm sure he's as confident as can be. You're 14-0, so I do respect that. But Hewing fought Malcolm Wellmaker, who was supposed to be one of the next big prospects, and he beat him in a unanimous decision. He came out of nowhere, bro.
yep.
And before that, he won 4 fights in a row before that. 3 of those were knockouts. So this guy's a freak, and I saw him get rocked by Willmaker a few times in that fight,
He
and
had
he's
it
got a
too.
great chin too.
Yeah,
Dude, Huey can box, wrestle. He's got a little jiu-jitsu. Dude, he's very very versatile
he's well
in the
rounded.
cage. In the octagon, sorry, in the octagon. Dude, I'm pretty surprised that the odds are the way they are. Don't be surprised. I don't know when y'all listen to this podcast, but don't be surprised. Ewing is probably minus 120, 140 last time I checked.
He's
Don't be
140.
surprised if he moves to minus 180, 190 come fight night.
I love it, dude. Yeah, I'm glad we were on the same side there.
I'd even take him by knockout, bro, honestly.
Yeah, I think he's the better striker, honestly. Again, like you said, I think he's the better striker, and Rafael wants to stay standing as well, but he just fights more on the outside, and I think the pressure is going to make the difference. So I think look for him to get pieced apart this game, this match.
Yeah, I feel like Raphael, he might keep it interesting on the feet, but I just feel like Ewing's fight IQ is pretty high. I know we haven't seen a lot of Ewing, but his fight IQ is high. He's got a great chin, and he just mixes it up well. So even if it's close on the feet, I trust Ewing to make those adjustments and
Yeah,
initiate takedowns when necessary, and just really keep Raphael guessing throughout the fight, whether he wants to keep it standing or take him down and um, give him problems on the mat.
Yeah, because sometimes I feel like guys, even if they're not doing as much damage, they just look like they're dominating their presence in the ring, and like you said, shooting, getting some takedowns, getting some control time, and they win because it looks like they were dominating the match, even though maybe they weren't putting out as much damage overall.
I think Ewing, he's in the bantamweight division. I'm gonna say it right now. I think Ewing is gonna work his way into the top 10 in the next 2 years. I just like the guy. He's a freaking dog. Now, I'm not saying he'll be a champion, but a lot of the guys at the top of that division are starting to age.
How old is you?
UFC, I'll tell you right now. Um, Ewing is 28 years old, so this is perfect timing for
Yeah,
him too. So within 2 years, he'll be about 30 years old. So he's really essentially right now coming into his prime. And I would say, from in my opinion, it depends on the wear and tear and injuries and stuff. But I feel like your prime in the UFC is age 28 to 33. That's, in my opinion,
yeah,
that's UFC prime age. Raphael is 29, so he might give him some problems, but again, I think Ewing really is a contender, bro.
no, I think he's a contender. Rafael looks so much older too. That's crazy. But I agree with what you said. I think a lot of times, especially for men, they get into like that man strength, like you said, your late 20s, early 30s. It's like you kind of just harden and get a little bit different muscle fibers going. Because you even see it like with football when the guys are going from college to the NFL, and the NFL guys are just so much faster, so much stronger, so much thicker, and it's like these guys technically are younger, but it doesn't necessarily mean they have that same style of muscle build up.
Facts. And a good example that I think of with the UFC is Charles Oliveira. And he was in the featherweight division. There was a point of time where people were saying that he gives up and fights and kind of checks out, and he's not a dog. And here he is in his early 30s and on. Became a UFC champion, beat
Yeah,
Gaethje, beat Poirier, beat Chandler. Defend his belt multiple times. He's going to go down in the history books, as a UFC Hall of Famer, and
yeah,
he just fought for the BMF belt, which isn't a significant belt at all. But at the end of the day, he's a Hall of Famer who had a rocky start, in some adversity through his 20s, especially his early 20s in the UFC.
yeah. I think it can be humbling for these younger guys. So again, it's good. Just got to keep with it, right? Keep going in the right direction.
That man strength's serious, bro.
That man strength is serious. One of think about it, dude. Like Daniel Cormier grabbing your wrist, bro. You're not getting out of that.
Dude, what's funny is, like, I know, like, we've just recently been doing this podcast, but I always like think to myself, like, man, like, let's say in the future, if this ever blew up, like, years down the road, and because there are a lot of UFC fighters that do listen to different podcasters and YouTubers breaking down
Yeah,
fights. Dude, how miserable would that be if you're out in public right after you did a podcast saying, "Oh, this guy sucks," and one of these UFC fighters see you in public, like, dude, I have zero fight in me, bro. I'm getting smoked right away. Like,
dude.
I would hate to see a UFC fighter in person that heard the podcast and heard us like slamming him, saying, "Oh yeah, he sucks."
That's what you just have to go on live immediately, dude. Just be like, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Look, I'm apologizing. I'll never bet against you again."
Yeah. But you know what? I think at the same time, that's the cool thing about being in our position or in our shoes right now. And I would still be this way even if we had like a million subscribers. At the end of the day, I want to be as honest as possible when I'm
Yeah,
giving out a prediction or what I really think. Like, I don't want to tell you guys, like, let's say I was friends with a UFC fighter. If I knew someone personally, be like, "Oh yeah, I'm backing them," or "I'm taking them," or I didn't say what I really thought because because I knew
yeah,
them and wanted to save face. Like, at the end of the day, if I have an opinion, I always want to give it and not worry about how it affects other people, because we're not talking about their personal life. We're
yeah.
not taking personal shots. We're just strictly talking about what our predictions are for the fight. And
100%.
if we say that they stink or boring, do something to make us think otherwise, or
Change it
don't
up.
give a crap about our opinion.
Exactly. Exactly. Prove me wrong. Prove me that you can get a
Right.
knockout. I'll take that.
Go give us a finish, bro.
Right, exactly. That's the best gift you could give me.
Next up, we have Brinson Ribeiro, who's 17-9 versus Abdul Rahman Yakayev.
All right.
Yakayev is 25 and Ribeiro is 29, so both pretty young guys. Yakayev has never lost though, bro. I'm assuming he's a pretty big favorite here.
Minus 1900. So he's the biggest favorite, dude. Minus 1900.
Holy cow,
Isn't that
dude.
crazy? So they have the over under at a half a round at 0.5 is the over under.
Dude, this guy's a finishing machine though, bro. Like Yakimov or whatever, he contender series in his first UFC fight, he got a knockout in the first round, and in um his and then the next UFC fight, he got a sub in the first round. Both were under 35 seconds into the fight.
Dude, I saw that and I was like, that can't be right. Over under a
Hey,
half a
this is a
round?
dog right here. Hey, this Yakayev might make some. You know, in the light heavyweight division's weak, bro.
Yeah,
So
this will be a
I
good
think Yak,
trade draft.
this is a serious contender right here, bro. Like
Yeah,
I'm
so
gonna say right now, he becomes top 10 within 2 years if he if
probably.
if he gets the right fights,
This is the
especially
layup right
finishing.
here. Yeah.
They're gonna love pushing this
I,
guy if he's getting finishes.
I think this is a layup fight, dude. They're giving him an opportunity to get a good highlight reel going, basically. Like you said, this is who they're going to start promoting.
And it's crazy because half a round is 2.5 minutes. So
Isn't
with
that
him getting
nuts?
two finishes under 35 seconds, 2.5 minutes seems like a really long time.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, it's not going to take him 5 times as long to finish the fight, right?
Hey, you know what though? I'm not touching this fight. I'm gonna just enjoy it and see how good he really
Yeah.
is. But I'm gonna say it goes over a half a round, bro. I'm gonna say Ribeiro. You know, because sometimes if they get caught in a clinch position or they're stuck on the mats while they're wrestling in certain positions,
Well, how many
I
times
could see.
you've watched a fight and they don't even touch each other the first minute? It's like they're just both,
Right.
you know. So I mean, it seems crazy, but yeah, I mean the over is probably the responsible thing, but I would say I'm gonna stay away.
Yeah, I remember a fight that comes to mind is when Usman was fighting Jorge Masvidal for the title, and Usman for like a round or two, bro. He had Masvidal, uh, he had him up against the fence, and Masvidal couldn't get out of it, and Usman was just stomping on his toes over and over and over, just foot stomps on his toes, and everybody was booing like crazy, and I was like, oh my god, dude, I'm about to turn this crap off,
Yeah,
but
he did
just to make the
exactly.
example of like some of these fights that could finish fast, you never know. Like they could stall out a little bit longer
Yeah,
than anticipated. But if Yakayev doesn't get a finish here, I'll be shocked, bro.
I'd be shocked.
Hell would freeze over.
No, they're giving him a highlight reel going.
Yeah, dude, this is like we said, bro. This is that fight for Yakayev to be that guy that everybody talks about this week. There's no other massive names on this card. This is that type of fight where Yakayev, everybody's gonna when they think of this whole card in the next couple weeks, they're gonna remember Yakayev's name. And they're gonna push him to get a some bigger name value for his next
Right.
opponent.
So I always go work out Sunday, and there's a group of us, like two. Normally, it's 2 or 3 other guys, and the one dude always watches the UFC too. So of course on Sunday, immediately it's like, dude, did you see that fight? This is gonna be that fight. It's like, did you watch
Yeah,
that? Did you
yeah,
see what
facts.
happened?
Hey, we're gonna laugh because next week we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna see if those guys that you're working out with mention this guy's
All
name.
right.
So good, man. Hopefully he puts on a show. All right, man. These next two fights we know a lot about, man. Now we're getting into some UFC vets. So thank you for staying with us if you made it this far.
Yeah, fair.
Next up, we have one of the most beautiful women in the UFC, Verna Jandiroba versus Tabitha Ricci. Dude, I'm sorry, Verna. Like, dude, I know I always like make some like disrespectful comment. You know, dude, I think she's a fantastic fighter,
She's a
and I
fantastic fighter.
yeah, I don't have anything against her. Like I regret saying that already, but dude, I can't help, dude.
You
I
completely
just got
stumped
dark
me on it.
humor.
I wasn't expecting that, bro. That's hilarious.
And dude, people think Ricci's pretty hot, so I figured
Dude,
people would
dude.
think I was about to say Tabitha Ricci, but
That's
hearing
what I
Verna
thought.
is
I
like,
was
oh,
like,
hey,
baby,
yo.
I love it. I love it. I was not expecting that at all, dude.
But we got Verna Jandiroba versus Tabitha Ricci. Both of these ladies are contenders. Virna just fought for the title against Mackenzie Dern and had lost. And Tabitha's right up there. You know, she's working her way up to a title shot. I feel like this is gonna be a pretty close fight, bro. To be honest with you.
I agree. I think this is going to be a close fight. I think Verna's got a better ground game, and that's where we're going to see some of the difference at in the grappling and the submission attempts. I think for Riki, for Baby Shark, this is going to be one of those humbling experiences that you know, kind of show you where your career is, show you where your skill and your talent ability is. I mean, if she gets past Verna, she better be ready, man, because everyone loves her. Public's on her side. She's got a great marketing campaign. I mean, who doesn't love Baby Shark, dude?
Yeah, you know what? I like Ricci in this matchup. She just came off a big knockout win versus Amanda Ribas, and her loss before that was Yan Xiaonan, who I really respect. I think she's a
Yeah,
fantastic fighter. Um, Virna has kind of been there, done that. You know, I know she hasn't won a title, but she fought for the title, and so you know, looking at it, I feel like the UFC needs Ricci to win this fight to make that the women's strawweight division more interesting and entertaining, and you know someone new for Mackenzie Dern to fight. Because if Jandiroba wins this fight, I personally don't think people would want to see that rematch, bro. I
yeah,
think Ricci would
not
be
this soon.
get more viewership than Jandiroba fighting Dern.
100%, 100%, dude.
So, and with Ricci, I think she's a little bit she's better on the feet for sure. Virna is better on the ground, better jiu-jitsu. I do like Ricci's her like judo trip. She's really good
Yeah,
at
that's
utilizing
true.
her judo at her trips. But I don't know if she should use that in this
Yeah,
fight
if
because
I
you
wouldn't
don't
be
really want
taking
to go to
it
the
back.
ground on Jandiroba because
Yeah,
Jandiroba when she's
exactly.
on the feet, dude, she throws the same combos every time, bro. Virna just repeats those combos until she gets you against the fence and then wants to take you down.
Yep.
So I think Ricci shouldn't even mess around with the grappling in this. Keep it. It's in reality. I think this is going to be a decision win for Ricci. It's gonna be boring. There's gonna be some booze. Um, Probably a lot of like, you know, um, feints in the cage, and they're
Static
gonna stay at a
punch.
distance. I'm gonna say there's not a lot of significant strikes thrown at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's gonna be a lot of grappling and submission attempts between these two ladies. I don't see it. I don't think they want to stay standing necessarily. And again, the over 2.5 is minus 485, so everyone thinks it's going to decision. And then the odds are fairly close with Verna at minus 128 and Ricci at plus 107.
Yeah, I'm taking the dog, bro. Who are you taking?
I'm taking Verna, bro. I'm taking Verna. I think her ground game is going to make the difference here.
I'm not mad at it, but yeah, I like Ricci. I want it. I'm not gonna say lock, but it's gonna be a good
Don't
fight.
hate.
But
Don't hate.
the UFC needs Ricci, and so I'm gonna go for what the UFC needs.
Yeah, I agree. I
Because
think they. I think
my,
that's a
my
better.
opinion is this: like sometimes, not always, but sometimes, if it is a close fight in the UFC and it goes to a decision, this is just like I'm just making this up. But in my opinion, I kind of feel like they they're gonna pick the winner of
They
who's gonna
sway, bro.
promote the UFC better. You
They
know, who do
sway.
they ever they need to win? That's who I feel like they're gonna pick when it comes to a decision. So
Dude,
this is one of those where
what was the card that got messed up last week? What fight was it? Where they freaking? I was just like, "There's no way."
oh yeah,
They're like,
dude.
"Oh, sorry. Go ahead and come back, guys."
Bro, that was the first fight. I think that I might like. I've heard Bruce Buffer say the wrong name before, but that was the first time that I've heard him announce the wrong winner.
Isn't that crazy?
And Buffer like never messes up, bro. Like he's so solid.
Yeah, so I don't know if it was him or if it was the person who handed him the cards and stuff got switched around or but that was an awkward moment, dude, for sure. And I was just like I literally texted you was like there's no way that just happened.
Yeah, that was insane. Oh, it was the Tyrell Fortune versus Marcin Tybura.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and I felt that was one of those situations where I personally think the UFC should have paid Tybura his win money just because of that situation. You know, you had
I
him
think
looking essentially
fair.
stupid in the cage, bro.
Yeah.
Tybura's sitting there. He knew he lost the fight, and
Yeah.
he's sitting there, the announced winner. You got him alone in the cage, but no one's stepping out to give him an interview. And then Fortune's walking off, and I'm just thinking, man, like you. it already sucks losing the fight, but
Yeah,
I felt like it was humiliating for Marcin Tybura. That's at least how I would have felt. So the UFC, in my opinion, give him his pay him as if he won the fight.
I like that, dude. I think that's fair. It's probably only like 8 or 12 grand. Yeah,
Give him his win money for that mess up.
I like it.
You owe him one, Bruce. All right, next up we got one of the best guys on the microphone when he does win fights. Money Renato Moicano versus Chris Duncan. This is a pretty good matchup stylistically, bro, because Moicano, he loves utilizing his wrestling. He
Yep.
wants to stand and strike just long enough to get you to the ground and pound you, or utilize his jiu-jitsu. Chris Duncan, in my opinion, he's the opposite. He wants to stand and
Yep.
trade and bang, bro. He wants to knock you out and keep it on the feet. Something that's really interesting that I found out is these guys have trained together for
Yeah.
a long time,
They were an
and they're
American top team.
training in the same gym
Yeah.
leading up to this fight, and they're good friend. I want to say they're good friends, but they both have a lot of respect for each
Yeah.
other. They talk extremely highly of each other. So this is going to be, they're going to the end of this matchup with no bad blood whatsoever. Duncan is 32. In my opinion, he's just getting into his prime right now. Like,
Yeah.
he's just hitting his stride.
That's
And
the difference.
Moicano, he already peaked, bro. Like, I like Moicano a lot. He's a dog. He's not an easy matchup for a lot of people, but he is 36 years old. He has fought for the title before. He's made his money. So, in my opinion, if Duncan can keep this standing, no way he loses. But can he stay standing the whole fight?
That's going to be the hard part, dude. Because, like you just said, Renato's fought better people. He's had better competition overall. And I think his ground game is a lot better. Duncan, I would say, is a little bit stronger. So I think as long as he can sprawl, he'll do okay there and be able to keep him off. But is he going to be able to hold him off for, 2, 3 rounds? And that's going to be the difference maker. So I agree with you. I think it's just kind of stylistical matchup. So can they stay standing? And then is it going to go to the ground? Obviously, each person has their advantage. And it's crazy that these guys basically, like you said, train together, train at the same gym in the same place. So they obviously know each other's weaknesses and strengths. And uh, I'm leaning towards Renato, dude, to go for a submission overall. But he's the underdog at plus 145, so I'm taking the dog. Chris Duncan at minus 170. They're looking for him to get the knockout.
This is, bro. I'm really torn right now because I've watched both guys fight a lot. I'm fans of both of them. I want Moicano to win because I love when he gets on the microphone. Um, Moicano Moicano has more paths to victory. He could pull off the submission, or he could win a decision by utilizing the wrestling and winning in control time if he doesn't get the finish. So I think it's hard to not take Moicano, especially as an underdog, because he has more paths to victory. But Duncan, he's in my opinion, he's hungrier. His only path is the knockout. I'm taking Chris Duncan by knockout. I'm gonna say Moicano I'm gonna say Duncan tags Moicano up in the first round a little bit, and then Moicano at the end of the first round starts getting his takedowns. Second, third round, Moicano keeps taking Duncan down, but they're both getting tired. And then I'm gonna say end of third round, going into fourth, Duncan's gonna find a late finish.
Yeah, I mean, dude, honestly, like you said, I think either thing could happen. It just depends on who's using their matchup in their favor. So I think the best
Bro, I'm
thing
gonna
to
be
do.
crazy and say this: Chris Duncan by knockout in rounds 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's all. You're crazy. But that's probably
I
going to
know
be the
that's
bet.
probably a crazy payout too,
With
but it's probably not likely.
regular KOs at plus 115 and Makano to get submission plus 300. So you could bet both sides and go for, who's got the best there.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think Moicano's more likely to get a decision if he does win, and then Chris Duncan, I believe it's knockout or take Moicano.
Well, if you take Chris Duncan in round 3 plus 800, round 4 plus 1200, round 5 plus 1800.
Sweet. That's pretty good odds. I know that's specific and not likely. Heck, man, if you're betting, that's what comes with sports betting. Reward, more risk, more reward.
So that's just him to win, not even him to win by knockout.
Yeah, let's say unless he like got a guillotine or something, because I don't know, bro. I don't see him subbing
No,
Moicano.
yeah, I don't see him selling. Well, that's always the interesting part, especially when these guys, grapple and roll around so much. They know like where they're able to take advantage of the other person just as much as the other person knows, both sides of it as well.
Yeah, it's just as scary fighting someone that you've trained with and are very familiar with. It's just as scary as fighting someone that you don't know at all because um
I would think the
come
head
fight
games
night
are
you
different.
just
The head games are.
yeah. It's like you think you know everything, but you get in there and it's live action. You never know how it's gonna play out, man.
Yeah, we just never know, dude.
All right, are you ready to give out some parlays?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, this was kind of a weird card, dude. So this was the parlay I put in here. So
Hey, while you're pulling that up, bro,
well, we
I'm
didn't
putting
last week.
765 units straight bet on Ethan Hewing.
This guy, he's like just max bet, max bet.
Dude, maxing it out to the
All
bank.
right, now it's having an issue.
It's all good, man.
It's always something, bro.
It's all good. We got time. I got nothing going on this evening, man. I just taught coached some soccer and I'm chilling tonight, man.
How's soccer going?
It's going good, man. I I have two teams, essentially like a varsity and a JV. Varsity, they won their soccer game last Saturday at 9-0. I think we won 12 zip, but they stopped keeping score. And then my JV team lost in a 2-1. It was a close nail biter game, so I'm really proud of both teams.
That's pretty good.
Hey, while you're pulling that up, I'm gonna walk. I think my Amazon stuff got here.
You're good, dude. All right, so it's Alice Pereira versus Lando Venata as the parlay, and it pays plus
Thank you.
147.
Sorry, one sec, Mad Dog. Sorry about
You're
that.
good. You're good.
It's got some Amazon stuff in. Okay. So you got Elise Pereira.
Yep.
Okay. Who else you picking up?
Uh, Lando Venata.
Okay.
So it's a plus 147 parlay. Those are probably my two favorite people that have reasonable odds.
Londo and Pereira.
Yeah.
Okay. Plus 147. What about Martingale? What are you thinking for that?
Should have done it earlier, but I don't know. I was originally thinking I was gonna skip it, but let's let's do.
Dude, and you know what? I'm about to stop calling this the Martingale method because I feel like you win at a higher clip than whoever the heck Martingale was, dude. I'm calling this the Mad Dog method. I'm never saying Martingale in my life
I
again.
love it, dude. The Mad Dog method. Well,
Yeah,
it's the
this is
best
Mad
part 'cause
Dog.
I just need one person to hit out of the three, right? And then it bumps up the bankroll every time. So then the next time you have more to bet. So then you just keep going up. So ideally, you're almost like parlaying week after week after week, winning one of three fighters. So it should start stacking up, dude. Even just starting with the $100.
Will say, like, just from a hater standpoint, if you were, which, dude, I don't remember if you ever or the last time you had lost a Martingale Mad Dog method play, but if the three fighters you did pick for whatever reason lost, you would be down quite a few units, which sucks. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, like you're taking three people that you really believe in. So, and I just want to like make that comment because that is the
No, for
reality
sure.
of it. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like, bro, I don't care if anybody that listens to us. Every time I say, "Hey, Mad Dog, what's your Martingale method?" I promise you, this guy hits one of the three. You can listen to the majority of our podcasts, and this guy hits one of those three and ends up profiting. So take that for what you want.
So let's do this. I'm going to take Alice Pereira as one, and then Ethan Ewing for two, and I'm taking Verna for three, dude. I'm going against you on that one.
mad at you because you won't even have to get to that point.
That's what I'm.
Ethan ain't let us down.
That's what I'm saying.
My boy Ewing to the freaking bank, bro. All right, yeah, dude. You know what? I always give out one crazy parlay each week.
Yeah.
So, all right. So my only play is Ewing, whatever units, and I'm just gonna say too. I'm knocking on wood because I hate jinxing myself, but every time on this podcast, I think I need to go back, but I think every time I've given the word lock, my fighter is won.
I would say yes. I feel like we might have missed one. We might have missed one like 3 or 4 cards ago.
Like whenever I talk crazy about someone, usually they come through. I'm probably at like 80%. I've got to be, bro. Like I don't remember the last time I messed up with saying the L word, but I'm putting whatever units on Ewing. But here's my crazy parlay. Leg one, uh, Elise Pereira.
Yep.
Leg two, Guilherme Pat.
Yep.
Guilherme.
Guillerme.
Yeah. Leg three, Ewing.
Yep.
Leg four, Ricci.
I knew it.
I like it, don't love it, but it's very hedgeable. It's hedgeable.
Yeah, that's hedgeable still.
So if I get to that point, dude, and I'm gonna say I have no odds in front of me, bro. I just talk off the top of my head, but I'm gonna say that's got to pay right there plus 600.
Dude, double it, baby. Plus 1135.
Oh, that's a fire parlay.
That's crazy, bro. That's
That's
crazy.
fire.
I
Four
love it.
legger, and I like those fighters,
I know
bro.
it's not bad at all, dude. Honestly, super
That's
easy
heat.
hedgeable.
Bro, and honestly, you could even ride with me and just switch out Vierna, and then you could hedge and bet Ricci. If you really feel that way about Vierna. Because we both like Ewing, we both like Guilherme, and we both like Pereira.
Dude, yeah.
And with Ricci and Jandaroba being damn near pick'em, you could just take the other side for your last leg, and then we could both hedge accordingly if the first three hit.
That's
And
a that's a
we're
big
both
win.
taking our women out for steak dinners.
Hell yeah. All right, I'm gonna post yours. So I'll do yours for half a unit, dude, to basically
All
win
right,
10 units back.
that's fire, dude. That's flames.
Really 11. And then what do you want to do? You want to do 2 units on E-wing?
Yeah, that's fine.
He's like, no, I want more.
Yeah, I do kind of. But who's the last? I'm trying to think of the last girl that I was like talking crazy about, dude. Trying to see. Look through some of these fights while you're putting that in. Let me see. Dude, time flies, man. I'm looking back at some of these cards. I'm like, man, time flies, bro.
Right?
Let's see.
Man, we had some good ones for a while. Well, I think we both were on Max Holloway pretty hard. That was a upset.
Oh yeah, dude. Wrong about that. I was wrong about that one for
That's
sure.
probably the only one I would say that we were both were like, feeling great about it and got rocked.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Oh,
I'm
I
gonna
will
look
say,
through
dude,
some of
freaking
these.
Joe Pfeiffer, man, I have a different opinion about him now. Holy shit.
Hey, bro. I knew he was a contender and I liked him a lot, but I just thought
Damn,
I
bro.
thought I wasn't real confident saying Izzy, but I thought that Izzy was gonna give him a lot. And Izzy, in my opinion,
He started
fought
off
him really
strong.
well till he got caught. I just
Yeah,
think he had he had Pfeiffer wobbled, and when he went in for the kill, he just left himself too exposed.
yeah. Yeah, because he started off well. Then, like you said, once he got touched, he just kind of shriveled up quick.
Yeah, that was a tough one, bro. But I don't think I bet crazy. I didn't put a big units on that one.
Yeah, I didn't go too crazy last week.
Hey, next week's card is a banger, dude. We got Jiri versus Olberg. It's gonna be April 11th, so that'll be the following week. That's a banger. Let's see. I'm looking at some of these older fights just to see who I was talking crazy about. But that's one thing I hate about myself is when I have something on my mind, I'm like I get so hyper focused on it.
Right?
Well, I was wrong about Brandon Moreno. I don't think I said lock that fight, but I liked Brandon Moreno and he had lost.
Wait, how far is this guy going back right now?
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm just trying to go through these fights. Um, let's see. God, I'm just trying to think because there's like a girl who I said like 4 freaking units on. Oh, Jillian Robertson versus Lemos. That was one of the ones I was talking crazy about, and
That
she
was
had won.
it happens.
She won. That was one I hit that one,
Okay.
and then yeah. Anyways, so going on to the NCAA tournament, bro. We have March Madness Final Four. We have Illinois versus UConn. And then on the other side, we have Arizona versus Michigan.
Yeah,
Now, dude,
baby.
we've been on this, bro. We've been the last two podcasts. We've talked about the Final Four at the end of our
Yeah.
segments with Arizona to the bank. And
Yeah.
bro, we're sitting pretty right now. Like, if you took Arizona before the tournament to win the championship, you're in a position now where I wouldn't go crazy about hedging, but you could put a little hedge into where you could almost get whatever money you started with
Yeah.
from their tournament. Because Arizona starting the tournament out, you would have got them anywhere between probably +4 and +500. So
Yeah. Plus
you're at a
four or
point
five
now where
hundred exactly.
you could put a little juice on Michigan if you wanted. It's going to be a good matchup. I personally think
Yeah.
that this is the national championship game just between Arizona and Michigan. I mean, I think they're both the best teams, and whoever wins is going to smash the winner
Yeah.
of Illinois and Connecticut. Um,
Yeah.
I just feel like Arizona, it's just their destiny, bro. Tommy Lloyd has the most wins since becoming the head coach of Arizona. He has like one of the fastest starts in NCAA history. We already talked about the roster's deep.
Yeah.
They got 2 or 3 guys that are going to be going to the NBA draft if they decide to do that after this tournament. Um, I don't know, bro. I think Arizona has the better coach. They have the better players. They're deeper. Michigan's great, but Arizona's greater. And on the odds,
Yeah.
Michigan is -1.5, which is I don't know, bro. If I was making the odds, I think I'd have Arizona -2.5. So I don't even want to hedge this game, bro. I'm not hedging.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be close for sure. Like you said, I think if you hedge just to get your money back or maybe a tiny profit. But essentially, you really should wait. And then, like you said, after this, they're going to beat up whoever's left. So, I mean, do you think UConn's got what it takes to beat up Michigan? I mean, there's just nothing there. So, yeah, I mean, Arizona's got the depth. Everything should be good. If we play like we did against Purdue, we definitely are going to win and do very well. But if we play like we played Utah, that's a whole different animal, dude. I think Michigan puts up more points than us statistically. I think we're better on the inside of the paint, but Michigan's got like 3 guys that are over 7 feet. It seems like so. I think this gonna be a tough matchup, dude. This is gonna be a serious game. I mean, it's just gonna be like back and forth for the lead. I don't see either, one putting up like 10, 12 points on the other. So it's gonna be interesting, dude. I'm excited to see how this game goes, but I hope Arizona wins.
Well, those Michigan big guys better get some extra long couches to watch that national championship game at home because they're not winning.
I love it, this guy. I love it. Where are
Dude,
you
Arizona, dude, we were on them, bro. Arizona to the bank, and you're actually a real diehard Arizona fan as well. So
Yeah.
I think that's super special, and
Yep.
that's so cool for you. On the other side, Illinois, they have one of the best offenses in the country. They're one of those teams that um, if you can't keep up with them offensively, then they're gonna blow you out of the building. With UConn, I believe they're a better coach. They're more well rounded. And they have momentum with them right now. I mean, that last second buzzer beat, shot with point 0.3 left on the clock, was one of the best plays in March Madness history. That'll go in the history book. So UConn's coming off, their confidence right
Yeah,
now
they're
and
full
their
of themselves.
swagger, their aura is just unmatched. So I before that last Connecticut game, I would have said Illinois is going to win, but now I'm thinking UConn might take that game and go on to the championship. But like I said, regardless, whoever wins that Michigan Arizona game is going to win the championship, man.
Yeah, I agree, dude. Those are definitely the best two teams left out of the four, so it should just be a win-win. I don't know, dude. I don't feel either way about Illinois or HuCon. I don't know who HuCon is.
Yeah, dude, UConn's coach drives me nuts too. Like I respect him. He's won back-to-back championships. He's got two ships, and he's going to go down as a Hall of Fame coach. But I don't like how he acts during the games. To be honest, I think that he's terrible to the refs, man. He's in their face screaming all game. I just feel like he there's times where he's more worried about himself, and I just feel like he thinks he's the star of the
Putting
team.
all the pressure on himself to win again.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he thinks he's the star. At the end of the day, these players play. The coaches make a
Yeah,
significant impact, but it's like sometimes I think in his mind he's thinking, "I'm the reason we won. Like it was all me. I'm the superstar of the team." And I don't know. I just like
he's
Tommy
getting
Lloyd's
drunk.
not like that, bro. He's a players coach.
Yeah,
He's chill as a pill. He lets his players, be stars, and he doesn't take their spotlight. I just think Tommy Lloyd is just a better professional.
yeah. Just shit. He barely says anything. He just stands there with his arms crossed. He barely speaks two words, bro. It's crazy.
What's cool is that Purdue game with Arizona, at halftime, Tommy Lloyd, their halftime, let's say it's 20 minutes. Tommy Lloyd goes in the locker room he said he went in there for 3 minutes. Less than that, he said, "Hey, you guys better figure this crap out. Like, we better go back. Essentially, we better kick their butts in the second half.
Yeah,
Like, I'm gonna let you guys talk amongst yourselves for the rest of this half." So he left them players only in the locker room for the remaining like 17 minutes before
it
the second
worked.
half started.
It
And
worked.
dude, hey, I'll tell you right now, Jaden Bradley probably got everybody's
Fired
crazy
up.
motive. He got him ready to run through a freaking wall.
Yeah, because they came out hot that second half, dude. That's crazy. I didn't even hear that story. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude. Tommy went in there and said, "Hey, I don't know what's going on right now, but y'all better figure this crap out. I'm gonna step out and let y'all take care of business. But this second half, we better turn it up." And they came out and balled out, bro. Like I just feel like he's a good players coach, and he has a good feel for his players and what they need, and
Yeah,
he accommodates them.
no, I agree. Yeah, he lets them kind of showboat a little bit and, you know, play and have fun. It's not quite 100% serious, but you can tell when he gives them that look. Like I said, he don't even say two words. He just looks at them and they straighten up real quick, you know?
Yeah. It's gonna be fun, man. So hopefully we win that Arizona championship bet. We've been on, like I said, we've been on them all season. We
Yep.
talked pretty good about Illinois too, so it's pretty cool that we've been pretty on point with the few minutes that we have talked about the tournament on this podcast. So
I mean, I would say we were, I don't know what, 70% of the Sweet 16. It's like we've been doing really well. So this team is at 75% at the four.
I'm gonna say this, bro. This parlay's got to pay plus 300 probably. Both these teams are underdogs. If you haven't bet on any futures and you just want some action this weekend, I'd parlay Arizona and UConn. They're both slight underdogs. Take both money line parlay two teamer to the bank. I bet it's plus 300
Let's see. Do, do.
because Arizona is plus 1.5 and UConn is plus two and a half. But I'm sure that line's gonna move. A lot of
Me
people are
too,
gonna
yeah.
take
Plus, yeah, plus
Connecticut.
330. So plus
Okay.
115 Connecticut, plus 100 Arizona, puts you at plus 330.
Yeah. And if you're a degenerate, I would maybe do uh, 2 units on each straight bet, and then maybe a half unit on maybe like a quarter unit on the parlay or something. Because one of those two teams for sure. I would be absolutely shocked if Illinois and Michigan was the championship game. I'd be shocked.
Well, you could even take those and still get plus 219. So you could either do both favorites or both underdogs and get plus money.
Yeah, I'm taking the dogs, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I
They, hey,
dude.
the two teams I feel pretty confident in: Arizona and Ethan Hewing, and they're both on Saturday too.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's
Yeah,
get
we're
it.
on it. For us, it's like 5:50. It'll be like 6 o'clock by the time the game starts. And
Okay,
the
sweet.
UFC's on at like 2 o'clock, I think.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it.
All
But
right, guys.
that's all we got for today, guys. After after this tournament, we're gonna do the UFC fights like we've been doing. Yeah, aside from that, maybe we'll give some updates on baseball here and there, but we're not gonna give any day-to-day picks. I mean, baseball, they play 160 some games.
Yeah,
No, the only thing I do watch baseball and I love baseball, but if we talk that at all, I'm just gonna give out like updated where my future picks lie and who I'm feeling as the season progresses. But I'm not gonna give out like, oh, Tuesday I'm taking the Phillies or
yeah,
whatever,
that's
dude.
the
I
hard part,
so
dude.
many games.
Plus, things change. The bullpen changes. They change pitchers and stuff. I mean, some of that times that stuff's last minute, so it's more difficult. I can see talking about maybe a series and trying to get the win out of the series, but so like you said, I think that's the best thing. Maybe do some occasional stuff or talk about future bets and wait till later down the road and see what happens.
Yeah. So yeah, other than that, man, we're just gonna rock out the UFC. We do have some better UFC cards coming up as well. Like I said, we have that Olberg and Jiri fight coming up, and then that White House card will be here before we know it.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And really, when's the Stanley Cup, dude? The NHL Championship's got to be starting soon.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, we got that. I have not watched any hockey this year, man. Like I couldn't tell you
What?
nothing about hockey, but I have been watching the NBA. We got the NBA playoffs coming up too, so
All right,
I'm not sure if you watch that, but I got us on that.
I'll watch the hockey. You watch the NBA.
We got this, bro. I'll tell you right now, if they're healthy, I really like the Spurs, bro, to make some noise in the playoffs. They got
All
the
right.
alien on their team. They got the absolute freak of nature, Victor Wembanyama, and then they have some really good young pieces. And they're like the kryptonite to the Oklahoma City Thunder, who just won the championship. The Thunder are really high up on the odds list to win it all, and as they should, they're a great team. But every great team has some team that gives them problems, and it
Yeah,
is the
dude.
San Antonio Spurs. So watch out for them. I'll just say that now. As long as Victor is healthy, they are, in my opinion, the team to beat out of the West.
All right, I like
And
it.
you can get them at pretty good odds right now. I think they got to be at least plus 650 or higher to win the championship.
Would
So
the Spurs play the Warriors tonight?
yeah, they're like 17-point favorites, so it's crazy.
Oh yeah, the Spurs are up already by like 18 points. That's nuts.
Yeah. But all right, guys. Um, I think that's it for tonight. That mic'd up and misinformed. If you guys want to tail us, awesome. If you want to fade us, I hope you lose your bets.
I love it. This guy, that's hilarious, dude.
Dude,
Yeah.
hey, let's say that for now on, dude. If you instead of saying like, "Oh, ride or tail, I don't care," nah. If you ain't riding with us, man, I hope you lose all your bets, man. I hope you lose the bets that you
Goodbye.
put. Yeah, even bets that you did that we didn't even talk about. I hope you lose all them bets too.
Goodbye to
I
your
hope you lose
future.
at roulette and craps and blackjack at the tables too.
You just listen. That's all he's saying. Just listen. It's the best thing you can do. Comment below. Comment what you think. Comment what we said wrong. Blast us.
Yep, and take Ethan Hugh into the bank, man. That's gonna make you millions of dollars this weekend. And if not, don't come for me because I don't got nothing to give you.
All right, sounds good.
All right.